Thus far in this channel, we've had discussions over features Game Freak should keep going into future games, and features they should bring back. So what about the features they've never implemented? Today, we're going to be discussing features we need to be brought into the mainline games. One quick thing before we get started, YouTube's algorithm has gotten so good at recommending videos that the subscribe button seems to be losing its purpose. However, I am personally trying to reach 1,000 subs this year, so if you enjoy this video, one click or tap of that button would really mean a lot. Now the first feature we need to discuss is multiple save files. This is a feature that is in the vast majority of games today, so it feels like a no-brainer for Game Freak. Back in the day, save files were confined to the cartridge itself, meaning if you played Emerald on your own Game Boy, took it out, and put it into a different Game Boy, you would still be on your original save file. Nowadays, a save file is linked to your Nintendo profile, which is convenient for when you're swapping data from console to console. However, we're still limited to just one save file per profile. I know the first comment someone will want to make is, make another profile on your Switch. And yes, you can do that. However, if you need or want any online functionality, you will need to buy the Nintendo Online service, and frankly, it's just financially irresponsible if you have a main account already linked to that service. The ability to have multiple save files for, say, a main playthrough, a side playthrough, and challenge runs would be really neat. In the video discussing features Game Freak needs to bring back, we discussed bringing back the ability to toggle experience share on and off, thus having the ability to not overlevel your entire party and making the game a little harder. But let's take this one step further this time and say we need a challenge mode implemented. Black 2 and White 2 did have a challenge mode, however it was only available after you beat the game the first time. And despite the fact that the NPC AI is supposedly smarter in this mode, it was really hard to tell the difference between the unaltered version of the game and the challenge run. I say give us this option straight away. Allow us to choose between easy, normal, and hard mode, each one progressively adding more difficulty. Easy mode's AI can be more predictable, with lower levels and no healing items, and in hard mode, the AI is smarter, making switches using strategies for type matchups, trainer Pokemon or Eevee and Ivy trained, and also the use of held and healing items, with, normal mode just being the in-between of that. If anyone has the opinion that Pokemon is a kid's game, I've gotta ask, why are you here then? It is far beyond a kid's game at this point, with a good chunk of the fanbase growing up with this franchise now being in their late 20s and early 30s. Game Freak does a tremendous job of catering to the younger audience, I can't take that away from them, but now it's time to show some love to the fans that have been here all along. Following that, let's discuss level scaling. I'm not going to spend too much time on this as I know it's a huge talking point in a lot of spaces, but this is something that should have been implemented in Scarlet and Violet. The whole selling point of these games was the fact that it was open world and you could explore anywhere whenever you wanted. Yet we were still sort of handheld into suggested route for the gyms and side quests. Exploring the entire map however you wanted wasn't even entirely possible until you progressed through specific story points with Arven, as the Titans were set at specific levels, meaning if you wanted to swim or fly, you needed to train, baby. Now, I am no game developer, however, I don't think it would be that difficult to implement scaling. Or if Game Freak isn't as knowledgeable on this, outsource it to a company that can make it possible. After 9 generations, to me, there's really no excuse anymore, especially with the future games most likely being open world as well. For our next feature, let's turn our attention to voice acting, or rather lack thereof. Can someone explain to me why in the year 2024 we still don't have voice acting in any Pokemon games? You're telling me that the biggest media franchise in the world, worth billions, could afford to pay Ed Sheeran to sing an end credit song, yet they couldn't pay for low-level voice actors? Even subtle grunts and groans would have been better than the silence we got. My complaint doesn't even stretch that far back either. I totally understand why older games didn't have voice acting, but for Sword and Shield, and I guess even Legends Arceus, it would have gone a long ways to have those grunts and groans, so by the time Scarlet and Violet released, we could have full sentence being spoken to us. It wouldn't even bother me if it was just for cutscenes. I mean, think about it. Think back to Area Zero, facing Sada and Turo, and how awesome those scenes were. Now just imagine how much more of an impact they could have had with voice acting. Or even at the end of the game, when you and your friends are heading home. What was already a sweet moment amongst friends that could have been immensely amplified by laughter and voice cracks. I mean, just listen to this person adding voice acting during their playthrough.
Oops, couldn't hear you. I'll say it again. Let's you and me be best rivals for life. Okay, wait. You will be my rival, won't you?
Out of all the talking points today, this is the one I really hope to see in Gen 10, if not in ZA, because man, I am tired of the silence. A feature that actually just got added to Pokemon Go and is getting a lot of negative feedback is more customization for player characters. While I think Niantic's heart was in the right place, for once, by trying to add the ability for players to have their trainers look and represent themselves, it definitely could have been left in the oven to bake a little longer, but I digress. We've come a long way from only being able to pick between a boy and a girl character, and we even got further face customizations in Scarlet and Violet. However, I still don't feel like we're quite there yet. I think the next step in this is to let us toggle with our trainer's height and weight. Maybe don't go as far as to add arm length, nose width, etc., but come on, we have huge and tiny Pokemon, why can't we have trainers of different sizes as well? I did also want to throw something out there. I really don't see it happening, but it is something fun to fantasize about, that being the ability to have a space to customize. Whether they bring back secret bases, or we get assigned a house, or even just our room in our mom's house, the ability to customize the space we live in would be incredible. Basically what I'm asking for, Animal Crossing decorating in Pokemon. Give us some wallpapers, floor patterns, different bed options. Heck, even allow for Pokemon beds so that they have a place to come out of their Pokeballs and rest. Because dude, that would be freaking awesome. With all that though, now I want to hear from you. What features do we not have yet that you want Game Freak to implement in the future? Let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this video. And if you haven't seen the other aforementioned videos, check them out here.